Howdy folks, it's March 28th, 2020. 5 days from when my surgery was supposed to happen, which of course isn't right now because it is postponed indefinitely thanks to the virus, which is still spreading all over the country. It's increasing in our state, and my state is Washington State, and as you probably know, that was one of the hot spots. I'd hate to be in New York City right now. That's a really scary place. And Louisiana sounds like it's really coming on too. This is a picture, folks, we've been to before. And some of these pictures deserve to be looked at again and again. And who knows how many times we'll come back to this. There's so much here to be seen. Now, this is a place where, without a doubt, there has been a battle here. And it took place very rapidly. Look at the missiles right here in the very front, bottom center. This is one example of many, 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 many missiles. I think there's 20 or 30 of them or so in this image here. And it struck me that, gosh, we've got all these missiles everywhere, and obviously this wreckage of ships and so on and so forth. And this whole calamity that happened here had to happen really, really quickly. It happened so quickly that they were unable to even fire off their missiles. Maybe they got some of them off, but there are still so many around, so many that no doubt that we can't see, or maybe we see pieces of them and we don't realize what we're looking at. But this thing here that happened in this area and in the previous videos in those areas, it happened quickly, and I'm thankful for that. I hope it happened quickly, and the people that died suddenly, because there were so many of them here that did die. I'm not going to go into the details on what we have in all these pictures, other than to say that go back and check out some of those previous videos, 4, 5, 6 videos ago. They'll explain to you what you're looking at. But there is nothing here that is rock. You see the arrow is pointing at another canopy for a cockpit. I've seen quite a few cockpits with glass. Apparently they make some really tough glass. There's a lot going on here, and the glass seems to survive frequently. And by the way, there's a lot of filtering going on in these pictures that I've taken, so it alters the colors. And sometimes I've altered the colors a little bit, but mostly, the only thing that I do is using the contrast and the brightness and that kind of thing. But the filtering does change the colors a little bit. Here's a couple more crafts. Why these things always end up one on top of the other, I don't know. Sometimes I think that's just the way they were. That's the way they were when this whole thing happened. I've seen it over and over. And these are two different kinds of crafts. The one on the bottom almost looks like a kind of like a rocket with the tail fins in the back. And this thing here, who knows? It has the shape of a fuselage in the front and the shape of the canopy in the front on the pointy end of it, but who knows what it was. It's pretty well destroyed. It's in tatters, just like my life. My life is in tatters. Here's another strange looking thing. This is again something else that was torn apart in this war. And if you look in the lower left hand corner, there's a fuselage that comes up from the corner and goes up towards the middle, and right down there towards the bottom is a little canopy. You can see it on that thing. And of course my timing is not always very good, so you have to go back and take a look at it if you're interested. Over and over we see things that are huge pieces of things that are just torn in half or torn into pieces. Hard to tell what anything was. Sometimes you get a pretty good idea of what something was. Now this thing here is a vessel, and Oddly enough, to me, this looks like a shipping vessel, as in a ship on the ocean type vessel. And it's been cut in half, perfectly cut in half. And you can see the inside of the hull, and there's apparently nothing in there, or at least nothing that we can see. And I've come across these types of shapes before, and it makes me wonder if they really are shipping ships, ship on the ocean ships. I know for sure we've had sky ships, but the ocean ships, don't make a lot of sense to me. And here right in the middle is something. Really don't know what it could be. It could be just debris, which is most likely. It almost looks like it could be some sort of a little robot that you would use to control, go around and take things apart. I doubt it. But here we have a big long vessel, another vessel that's down. The top has been torn off just like all the others before. It reveals everything in the inside. Who knows what all that stuff is? Is it cargo? Is it propulsion? Is it, who knows? A lot of stuff there though, so you can see it, just don't know what any of it is. And you can see that overall shape. And up on the hill, we're going to get a few random shots here and there. Just some interesting things that I was looking at. And this looks like kind of a dome. It sort of reminds me of something that would have been mounted on a ship at the 9 o'clock position on that thing. It looks like a gun that's coming out there. We've seen guns. There's also 2 missiles sticking up on the far left over by the 9 o'clock position. And this thing has a big hole in the back of it and maybe on the top. I think it was on a ship, and it was one of those kind of a ball turret with a gun on it. This is down on the ground. I just brought this picture up just because I thought it was interesting. Just right of center, you see that gold thing. I think that is an aircraft, not a spacecraft, but an aircraft because it has a vertical tail fin, a stabilizer. And also to the left of that is all this junk. But in the background, this kind of looks like one of those flying saucers that we've seen before. With the little nubby things on the bottom of it. However, I don't know that this is symmetrical enough to qualify as a saucer or as a craft. It could be, on the other hand, damaged as well, like everything else. So I thought it had a good possibility of being a flying saucer. I like the flying saucers. I think they're cool, and they're a step ahead of where our technology is right now. Now here up on this hillside, this is a standalone picture. It looks like there's a couple garbage receptacles there, and somebody left the lid up on one of them. I don't know what they are. And then here is an interesting picture. This thing sticking out, to me, looks like the very end of another triangular craft that has the end bent up and smashed up. All of the triangular crafts, or almost all of them, have the very ends of them smashed up or bent up like that. And that's what that looks like to me. I can't see the rest of it. And this here also, just so you know, has been filtered as well. And this looks like a great big craft. It has a gun up on the top with a turret. And the front of it is on the right-hand side where it gets pointy, in the back. It looks like you can almost see tail fins on them. And this thing is broken in half, and it's twisted, and it's been heavily damaged. But you can still clearly see that it was a craft at one time, a very long time ago. And I'll say again, I'm very happy that this was a very, very long time ago. Millions of years, I would say, without a doubt. And we know that people still live on Mars. If you've been looking at any of my recent videos, hey, they still live here. This is just Gale Crater. And there may be some people living here too, but it's just a hell of a lot of damage and wreckage and debris and whatever it is. This is where the war took place. Great big gun on this craft, and you can see in the right side of it, it's been cut straight in half. Very unlikely that something like that would ever break in half that straight. It had to be cut. And this is an unfiltered picture of another triangular craft up on the hill. And the big round thing there is a turret. I've seen a number of these crafts with turrets. And one thing I don't understand is what is in the right front of it. That big white thing sticking out. I guess we'll get back to that. But this vessel has been ripped open and gutted. There's nothing on the inside left. And looks kind of like there's a little missile sitting up on top. But yeah, this thing on the right hand side in the front there of this craft, what in the hell is that? A big white tube? What is that? I can't figure what that could possibly be. Anyway, thanks folks for watching. Look forward to seeing you again. Stay healthy, stay safe, do the things they tell you to do to keep this virus away from you and your family. See you soon. Bye.